Hello everyone, welcome back to Chemistry Guide. In this video, I will discuss about the physical and chemical changes, and we have learnt about pure substances, what are the different types of pure substances and their properties and their subdivisions we will see in this video. So now we will see first what is meant by physical and chemical changes. So if we see physical changes, the physical changes are those changes which occur without a change in the chemical composition and chemical nature of the substance. So that is, during the physical changes, what happen is the chemical nature of the substance will remain same. It won't get changed even after that physical change has taken place. So if we can understand it better by taking the example. Now if we take the example of ice, here the chemical formula of ice is H2O. On heating to 0 degrees, it will be converted into water. Even water is having the formula H2O. On further heating, water will be converted into water vapor. Even the chemical formula of water vapor is same, H2O only. So if we observe here, in all the three cases, we are having the same chemical nature, that is H2O only we are having. But the physical nature of the substance is getting changed. So first we are having solid, then liquid, then water. So these are exactly known as the physical changes. That is the changes which occur without a change in the chemical nature, but there will be a change in the physical nature are known as the physical changes. So example we can say ice, that is conversion of ice to water and water to water vapor. Now we will look into what are meant by chemical changes. We have seen that during chemical physical changes there won't be any change in the chemical formula or chemical nature of the substance. But what happens during the chemical changes is the chemical nature of the substance gets changed. That is, in previous case or even after the reaction we are having the H2O only. But here we won't get the same product even after attaining the change. Here the products before the reaction and after the reaction will be different. So we can understand by taking the example. So if you take the magnesium ribbon and if you burn that magnesium ribbon in water, sorry, in if we burn that magnesium ribbon, we will get a powder which is known as magnesium oxide. So initially we have taken magnesium, but after that we are not getting magnesium as it is. We are getting magnesium oxide. So that is the chemical nature of the substance has changed from magnesium to magnesium oxide. So here we can see that before the change and after the change we are having different products. So these are known as the chemical changes. That is, during the chemical changes, the chemical identity of the substance gets changed. So this is what is exactly meant by the chemical changes. Here we can see the example of chemical change as burning of magnesium in water. And now in the previous videos we have learned about the pure substances. We will say those substances as pure substances if the chemical identity is same. So if we see N2, the substances that are present in that are N only, nitrogen. So that is with a similar chemical composition is there in this. So we will say that it is a pure substance. So on the basis of their chemical composition, pure substances are further divided into the elements and compounds. Now we will see what is meant by elements and what are meant by compounds. Now if we see elements, element is the basic structure of matter. That is, it is a basic form. What is meant by basic form is it cannot be broken down into further simplified forms by any chemical reaction we perform. So we will elements, we can say example says helium, gold, like that they are known as the elements, examples of elements. Now we have seen that elements are the basic form of matter which cannot be broken down into further simplified forms. As we have seen the example helium. If we take helium, it cannot be broken down into the simpler forms. So those basic forms are known as the elements. And these elements are further subdivided into metals, non-metals and metalloids. As we are familiar with metals, non-metals, we may be familiar with these terms in our day-to-day lives. Now we will see in detail description of these metals, non-metals and metalloids, like what are known as metals, what are known as non-metals, what are known as metalloids, and what are the properties they are having. Now we have seen that elements are further classified into metals, non-metals and metalloids. So here in this slide we will see the definitions of metals, non-metals and metalloids. So if you see metals, metals are those solid materials which conduct heat and electricity, hot, shiny, malleable, fusible and ductile. That is, we will say those materials as metals which are hot and which conduct heat and electricity. Those metals are known as, that is, they are having the properties of conducting heat and electricity. If we take a substance and if they are able to conduct heat and electricity, and if they are hot and if they are shiny, we will say that they are metals. But here we are saying that metals are solid materials. That is, the metals which we are having in our nature are solid. But here we are having exception, that mercury is a metal, but it is liquid in nature. This is the only exception in this case. So we will say that if anyone asks about what are metals, we will say that they are solid materials which will conduct heat and electricity, and they are shiny, they are malleable, they are fusible, and they are ductile. We will describe all these things when anyone about metals. Now we will look into what is meant by non-metals. So if we see non-metals are those substances which do not exhibit the properties of metals. So as we have seen that metals are hard and they are solid. How we will define non-metals is, non-metals are those non-metals are those substances which do not have the properties of metals. So now if we take the substance, if we see the properties it is having, and if we are able to observe the properties which the metals are having, we will say that it is a metal. But if we see that if it is not heat, if it is not hot, if it does not conduct heat and electricity, and if it is not ductile, if it is not shiny, we will say that it is not a metal. So we will say that instead of saying that it is not a metal, we will say that it is a non-metal. So non-metals are those substances which do not exhibit the properties of metals. Now we will see metalloids. Metalloids are those substances which exhibit the properties between those of metals and non-metals. Now we have seen that metals are hard and they are ductile and they are shiny, and non-metals are those which do not exhibit these properties. But what happens in case of metalloids is, they are having the properties between these two. That is, they exhibit some properties related to metals and some properties related to non-metals. And those substances which are having these properties in between those of metals and non-metals are known as metalloids. We have learned the definitions of metals, non-metals, and metalloids. So now we will move further a step, that is, we will learn about the properties of metals, properties of non-metals, and properties of metalloids. So first we will see properties of metals. If we see the properties of metals, they have luster, that is shine. So if we see the metals, they will be shining. If we see, if for example, if we take gold, it is a metal. If we see that it will be shining, it will have a shining nature. Next we will see that metals will have silvery gray or golden yellow color. This is a general property, that they will have silvery gray or golden yellow color. And metals will conduct heat and electricity. That is, if we pass air, we can able to get, they are able to conduct heat and electricity, metals. And they are ductile, that is, they can be drawn into wires. Metals are ductile, that means on heating they can be drawn into wires, and they are malleable, that is, they can be beaten into thin sheets. And they are sonorous, that is, metals can make a sound. When we heat them with something, they will make a sound, metals. So these are all the properties of metals. And if you see the examples, gold, silver, copper, iron, these all come into the category of metals. Now we will see the properties of non-metals. So we have seen that metals will have silvery gray or golden yellow color like that. But what happens in case of non-metals is, they display variety of colors. That is, we will get so many colors in case of non-metals. They won't exhibit a single or two or three colors which can be counted with hand. They exhibit a different colors. That is variety of colors, and they are poor conductors of heat and electricity. As we have seen that metals will conduct heat and electricity, but non-metals are the poor conductors. That is, they won't conduct heat and electricity, and they are not lustrous, sonorous, or malleable. That is, we have seen that metals are sonorous. That is, when heat by something, metals will make sound. But what happens in case of non-metals is, they won't make any sound when they are heat. If you take the examples, they are hydrogen, oxygen, and iodine. They are all known as the non-metals. And properties of metalloids. Now we have learned that from the basic definition, we have seen that metalloids will have the properties in between those of metals and non-metals. So Same here will be applicable for the properties of metalloids. They will have the properties in between those of metals and non-metals. As we have learned about the properties of metals and non-metals, we can easily give the properties of metalloids. Examples of metalloids are boron, silicon, germanium. We have seen that on the basis of their chemical nature, pure substances are divided into elements and compounds. And we have learnt about the what are meant by elements and subdivision among elements. Now we will see what is meant by a compound. A compound is a substance composed of two or more elements. That is, we have learnt that an element is a basic form that cannot be broken down. Now if we see in the compound, a compound is a substance that is made of two or more elements. So if we take water, here we are having hydrogen element and oxygen element. That is, water is composed of two elements. So we will say that water is a compound. That is, here we see, if we see the definition, compound is a substance composed of two or more elements chemically combined with one another in a fixed proportion. So if we take the example which we have taken, that is H2O, here H and O, the elements which we are having, will be combined in a fixed proportion. Now we will see the difference between mixtures and compounds. Why we are doing comparison here is because in mixtures we have learned that mixtures are the substances are something which we are having, which is a mixture of two or more substances. That is, in mixtures we are having two or more substances, as well as in compounds we are having two or more compounds. Then why can't we call mixtures as compound? Why? Because there is a difference between the mixtures and compounds. So we will see that difference between the mixtures and compounds. So now if we see the mixtures, elements or compounds just mixed together to form a mixture and no new compound is formed. That is, in mixtures what happens is, if we dissolve salt in water, we are getting a salt solution. Here what is happening is they are just mixing and they are not, no new compound is getting formed in that case. But what happens in case of compounds is elements react to form new compounds. That is, when we are adding hydrogen and oxygen for water, we are getting a entirely different compound, that is water. That is, the reaction is taking between the elements which we are adding in place of compound, but it is not happening in case of mixtures. And a mixture has a variable composition. That is, if we say that in some cases, if you take a salt solution only, in some cases we can have 10 grams of salt in 100 grams of water, or in 20 grams of salt in 100 grams of water, or 30 grams of salt in 100 grams of water. That is, they're having variable composition. But if we see compounds, they will have fixed composition. That is, if we take water, here the composition of hydrogen and oxygen will be fixed. In any case, it won't be changed. And now a mixture shows the properties of the constituent particles. That is, if we take the salt and sugar salt solution, here the properties that is shown by the mixture will be similar to those of the salt and water. But if we take the compound, the properties that is shown by the compound is entirely different from the elements which it is having. So if we take water, H2 and water will have different properties, and the compound which is formed from them will have entirely different properties. Next is, the constituents can be separated fairly easily by physical methods in case of mixtures. So if we take mixtures, we can separate the constituents that are present. Now if we take the mixture of sand and stone, we can separate them easily by any physical methods. But what happens in case of compounds is, the constituents can be separated only by chemical or electrochemical reactions. That is, by combining H2 and O2, we are getting water. But in order to get hydrogen and oxygen back from the water, we have to perform a chemical reaction. But in case of mixtures, we can attain them easily by physical methods. And here we can see the classification of matter. So matter will be subdivided into pure substances and mixtures, and again in pure substances we are having elements and compounds. Again in elements we are having metals, non-metals and metalloids. And if we come to mixtures, we are having different types of mixtures, that is homogeneous and heterogeneous. So this is all about the physical and chemical changes and about pure substances and the subdivision among them, and the compounds, elements, and the compounds and elements. So I hope you all understand this video. So if you have any doubt, please feel free to type in the comment box, and thank you for watching this video.